Hold on tight because what you're about to hear is the kind of scandal that could tear apart even the strongest reality TV family. Kirk Frost, the man fans thought they knew, the husband of love and hip-hop icon Rashida, the music manager who always seemed to be just a little too quiet when the cameras rolled, has just been exposed. And not for something small. No, we're talking to wives, 2 babies, 1 man, and a game so dirty, it's making even the most seasoned reality TV watchers gasp. For years, viewers believed that the worst of Kirk's betrayals had already aired. After all, we watched Rashida forgive him for a public cheating scandal that shook social media to its core. We saw the tears, the tension, the therapy, but baby, that was just the surface. Because behind the scenes, behind the makeup chairs, and green screen confessionals, Kirk was living a double life, literally. One woman in Atlanta, another in Miami, 2 babies born just months apart, and both women thinking they were the only one. Fans are shocked, Rashida devastated. But the biggest twist. The second woman wasn't just a fling, she was someone we've seen before, a face from Kirk's past who slipped through the cracks of the show's editing room, re-emerging now like a ghost with receipts, paternity tests, and a broken heart. And while Kirk scrambles to clean up the mess, his family is splintering, his eldest kids taking sides, friends turning their backs, and Rashida. Sources say she's already had a secret meeting with divorce attorneys. But it doesn't end there. A hidden voice note has surfaced, one that could prove Kirk's betrayal started years ago, long before the cameras ever caught wind of Jasmine. This is the scandal that could blow the lid off the entire love and hip-hop franchise. Lies, betrayal, children caught in the middle, and one man's dangerous obsession with control. So, buckle up, because we're diving into a story that's messier than ever before. Kirk Frost, 2 wives, 2 babies, 1 dirty game. Let the drama unfold. It all started with whispers, quiet rumors that swirled through Atlanta's music circles and love and hip-hop forums like smoke with no clear fire. At first, no one dared say it out loud. After everything Kirk and Rashida had been through, public infidelity, love child scandals, and televised heartbreak, it was unthinkable that he could be hiding something even worse. But that's the thing about secrets, they always find a way to claw their way to the surface. And this time, the truth didn't come from a blog or a bitter ex. It came from someone none of us expected, a woman who claimed she'd been living in Kirk Frost's shadow, quietly raising a baby that looked just like him, while watching him play the doting husband on television. And when her DMs to Rashida went unanswered, she decided to blow the whole thing wide open. The bomb dropped during a live Instagram session. Her name was Kesha, and she wasn't a stranger to Kirk. No, she wasn't just some groupie chasing clouts, she was someone with history. A former backup dancer from Kirk's early days, the kind of woman who knew the Frost name before it became reality TV famous. On camera, her eyes burned with anger. Her words were deliberate, cutting. "I stayed silent for too long," she said, "but while y'all were watching him fake tears and play perfect husband for VH1, I was sitting in Miami with a baby on my hip and no child support in sight. I didn't want to do this like this, but since Kirk wanna act like he don't know me, let's make it public." The video exploded. Fans screenshotted, reposted, and dug into Kesha's past. And what they found was more than just a one-night stand, it was a timeline. A parallel life. One that started just after Kirk's first cheating scandal broke, when Rashida was still reeling and forgiving. Kesha claimed Kirk had been flying to Miami under the guise of business, while secretly building a second household. "He told me he was done with Rashida," she confessed in a second live. "He said they were just staying together for the cameras. He said I was his piece, and like a fool, I believed him. And that wasn't even the worst part." Days after the video went viral, she posted a photo, grainy but clear, of Kirk holding a toddler. A toddler with the same sharp nose and smirk fans knew all too well. The caption read, "Meet your son Kirk. Since you're too busy to remember." Social media exploded. The Frost name was trending. People demanded answers. Rashida, usually calm and composed on social media, went silent. Not a single post. Not a single story. Just nothing. And that silence said more than words ever could. Then came the receipts. Kesha dropped screenshots of text messages dating back to years, messages where Kirk sweet-talked her, promised to leave Rashida, and even joked about starting a new Frost empire in Miami. Fans were floored. But just when everyone thought they'd seen it all, a voice note surfaced. Kesha leaked a recording, Kirk's voice, unmistakably low and familiar, saying, "Rashida don't need to know everything. What she don't know won't hurt her." The betrayal hit like a gut punch. This wasn't just a man making a mistake. This was strategy. A dirty game with 2 women, 2 babies, and 1 man pulling the strings. And that's when Rashida broke her silence. She didn't post a long caption or go on a rant. No, she simply uploaded a black screen with 1 word: enough. Fans knew what that meant. They'd seen Rashida hold down the family, rebuild trust, and stand by her man when most would have walked away. But this was different. This wasn't one affair. This was a double life. And Rashida, she wasn't having it. Behind the scenes, sources close to the couple claimed Rashida had already packed a bag and taken the kids to her mother's. She's not playing this time. One insider shared. She gave him 1 chance after Jasmine. She made peace with that for the sake of the family. But this is unforgivable. And what was Kirk doing while the internet dragged his name through the mud? According to sources, he was scrambling, making calls, trying to do damage control. But it was too late. Kesha had already done interviews, shared her truth, and even dropped hints that she wasn't the only one. And that's where the second twist came in. A woman named Tasha slid into the picture. Another Miami native. Another baby. Another tale of late-night visits, empty promises, and photos of Kirk attending a baby shower no one in Atlanta knew about. At first, people thought she was lying clout-chasing like so many others. But then Tasha posted her receipts. Ultrasound pics with Kirk's name on the referral. Texts saying, "I'll handle this, just don't go public." And a final blow, a photo of baby number 2 with a smile so familiar it made fans sick. 2 women, 2 babies, and Kirk Frost right in the middle. As the drama snowballed, everyone started choosing sides. Rashida's close friends Candy, Toya, even Tammy Rever started unfollowing Kirk. Comment sections turned into war zones. Fans demanded that VH1 drop him from the show. But Kirk, ever the manipulator, released a statement claiming the allegations were distorted and one-sided. He asked fans for privacy and promised to address the situation on his own terms. But the internet wasn't buying it. Not this time, and neither was Rashida. Insiders say she had a full breakdown, crying, screaming, devastated beyond words. She trusted him again, said one family member. She put herself back out there, let the world watch her forgive him, and he spit in her face. And while Rashida was trying to process the betrayal, Kirk was reportedly spotted trying to meet with producers desperate to spin the narrative before the next reunion taping. But there's only so much spinning one man can do when the truth is staring the world in the face. And as part 1 of this explosive saga reached its boiling point, one thing was clear: Kirk Frost had been playing with fire, and now, the whole world was watching him burn. But what no one knew was that the worst was yet to come, because what Kesha and Tasha didn't know was that they weren't the only ones he'd promised forever to. Not with Kirk, but with Rashida silent no more. After her one-word post shook the internet, fans waited with bated breath for her next move. Then, at 3 a.m., her Instagram lit up with a live stream. No makeup, no filters, just Rashida, raw. Sitting in her living room with puffy eyes and a quiet fury that pulsed through every word, Rashida let the truth spill like shattered glass on marble. "I gave that man everything," she began, her voice trembling. "I gave him my youth, my loyalty, my children, my forgiveness. And this is what he does." Again. Instantly, the comments section exploded. Blue checkmarks, fans, fellow cast members, all flooding in to show support. But Rashida wasn't done. "You know what hurts the most?" she asked, her voice breaking slightly. I stayed after Jasmine. I stayed when people called me stupid. I stayed when I wanted to leave so bad. Because I believed in my family, I believed in my husband. But you can't build love with a man who's building lies." That moment didn't just break hearts, it broke the internet. The betrayal wasn't just another scandal. It was a years-long deception woven with manipulation, silence, and children. Fans who had long defended Kirk Frost fell into stunned silence. Rashida had always been the strong one, the one who turned pain into purpose, who carried grace when others would have set fire to everything. But this time, she admitted what no one wanted to hear. There's no bouncing back from this. The video of her confession went viral across all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and yet, as Rashida's truth spread like wildfire, Kirk was nowhere to be found. Silent, absent from social media. Rumors began swirling that he had left Atlanta altogether and gone to his mother's home in Tennessee, hiding from the fallout. Meanwhile, something unexpected happened. Kesha and Tasha, 2 women who didn't know each other, but shared a painful link, began messaging each other. What unfolded from that exchange wasn't just explosive, it was downright cinematic. A leaked screenshot of their private messages showed that Kirk had allegedly promised both women the same future, often using identical phrases. "You're the one I see myself with. You're my piece. I'm only an ATL for the business." Fans started calling it Kirk script, mocking how he copied and pasted lies like a lazy screenwriter recycling old dialogue. But the story didn't stop there. Tasha came forward with a revelation that chilled everyone. Kirk had convinced her to stay quiet with the promise of bringing her into the show and giving her a place in the Frost family business. "He told me I could run the Miami boutique," she shared during a podcast interview. "He made it sound like I was gonna be queen of his empire." She laughed, but it was a hollow, bitter laugh. Turns out, he wasn't building a kingdom. He was stacking a house of cards. Meanwhile, Rashida wasn't just mourning, she was moving. Inside sources revealed she had contacted high-profile divorce attorneys, locked Kirk out of all shared business accounts, and began collecting documents. "She's done," said one friend. "Like really done this time. She's not just kicking him out, she's erasing him." And just when fans thought it couldn't get more insane, a third woman stepped into the spotlight. Her name was Lauren, a hairstylist from Charlotte. She didn't want fame or exposure. She hadn't even known about Kesha or Tasha until she saw the mess unfolding online. "I thought I was his only one," she said tearfully on TikTok. "He told me him and Rashida were done. That they were just faking for the cameras. I would have never gotten involved if I knew the truth." She posted screenshots, hotel receipts, even a quiet video of Kirk sleeping in her bed timestamped just 4 months ago. "And don't come for me," she warned the internet, "because now I know the truth. And I want nothing to do with that man." At this point, it wasn't just a cheating scandal. It was a web of deceit so deep it resembled cult behavior. Blogs started comparing Kirk to a manipulative cult leader coaxing women in with love bombing, promises, fake business opportunities, and emotional manipulation. Memes exploded. Twitter trends lit up. "Kirk Frost, the walking red flag," became the new fan slogan. Even a GoFundMe popped up, not for Rashida, but to raise therapy money for all the women Kirk had allegedly manipulated. It was messy, it was chaotic, it was tragic, but it was also real. And Kirk, still silent. No apology, no statement. Just vanishing into shadows while the women he hurt picked up the pieces. Then, just when fans thought the storm had passed, VH1 producers dropped a bombshell: the season 16 Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reunion was still on. And yes, Kirk had agreed to appear. But not without conditions. Insiders revealed he demanded a heavily edited script, pre-approved questions, and 0 surprise guests. But production had other plans. "The people want blood," one producer was overheard saying. "He's not talking his way out of this." As the reunion approached, speculation ran wild. Would Rashida show up? Would the other women confront him live? Could the show even recover from this much damage? Because what Kirk did wasn't just betrayal, it was a stain on the whole franchise. And it raised painful truths about what women endure in the name of love, loyalty, and public image. Cameras started rolling early. Behind the scenes, they caught Rashida breaking down at her boutique, leaning on friends, and meeting with lawyers. Kirk's scenes were different, awkward, defensive, and full of half apologies. "I made mistakes," he said in one clip, "but I never abandoned my kids." But fans weren't having it. Fatherhood isn't about showing up in court, it's about showing up in character. And Kirk's character was on trial. Reunion night arrived, like a thunderstorm. Kirk showed up late, dressed in black, sunglasses on inside, sweating. Rashida arrived separately, flanked by her brother and best friend, both visibly protective. Kesha and Tasha were spotted backstage, getting micked, and Lauren, she wasn't invited, but she flew in anyway, determined. Security was on high alert. The mood was heavy. The set was tense. Just before filming began, Kirk whispered to a producer, "I'm not the villain they think I am." But sometimes the villain doesn't wear a cape. Sometimes, he wears a wedding ring and a smirk. The show opened with glaring lights and uncomfortable silence. Kirk sat stiff, arms crossed. Rashida, poised and graceful, didn't even glance his way. The host cleared her throat and introduced the segment. Kirk Frost, Secrets and Shadows. Behind them, a montage rolled: Kesha, Tasha, and Lauren, sharing their stories. Kirk's jaw clenched, then gasps. Kesha walked on stage. Cool, composed, but cold. She sat beside the host and skipped all pleasantries. "Let me be real clear," she said. I didn't come here to ruin a marriage. I came here because I was part of one and didn't even know I was the second wife. Shock rippled through the room. Rashida blinked, stunned. The host leaned forward. What do you mean by second wife? Kesha pulled out a document and placed it on the table. This is a marriage license. Kirk Frost legally married me in Miami. August 2022. While still publicly married to Rashida, the audience gasped. Rashida leaned in, scanning the paper. That's a lie, Kirk blurted. It's fake. Photoshop. Kesha smirked. Knew you'd say that. That's why I brought this to Pre. She played a video. Kirk in a white linen shirt, standing on a beach, a minister declaring them husband and wife. The footage was shaky but clear. It was him. Rashida stared in horror. Her voice barely above a whisper, she said, so you didn't just cheat, you married her. Kirk fumbled. It was for legal stuff, tax stuff. It wasn't love. The excuse fell flat. The audience booed. Twitter exploded. Then Tasha walked on stage, fire in her eyes. Y'all want more receipts? She snapped. Let's talk about the baby shower he threw for me last year and told me to keep it off social media because he didn't want Rashida finding out. The host's mouth dropped open. Kirk looked like he wanted to vanish. I kept quiet, Tasha said, because he promised me everything. A future, a family, a role in the Frost brand. I didn't know I was being fed the same script he gave 10 other women. Then, the final blow. Lauren, escorted in by security, walked up to the stage and dropped a file of photos on the host's lap. Hotel selfies, restaurant dates, and one undeniable shot of Kirk rubbing her pregnant belly from behind. I lost the baby, she whispered. But I didn't lose the truth. The crowd fell silent. Rashida stood up, slow and graceful. She turned to Kirk and said, You didn't just break vows. You broke people. Then she walked off stage. The reunion wasn't just explosive, it was unforgettable. Not because of drama, but because of truth finally being louder than lies. And as Kirk sat there alone, sweating under the lights, even he knew, this time, no one was coming to save him. Media, let's talk about the apartment in Coral Gables that he pays for. Let's talk about how he told me he was gonna leave Rashida for good after their 10th anniversary. The audience erupts. Rashida mouths the words, 10th anniversary, realizing now that while she was celebrating a decade of marriage, he was celebrating betrayal in another zip code. But the biggest twist of the night comes when Lauren walks out not in anger, but with a baby in her arms. The audience gasps again. This is my son, she says simply, and Kirk Frost is his father. Rashida covers her mouth. The baby looks just like Kirk. The same wide eyes, the same nose, the same birthmark on the cheek. DNA confirmed it 2 weeks ago, Lauren says. And I didn't come here to ask for anything. I just wanted the truth out. Because too many of us were lied to. Kirk's facade starts crumbling. His sunglasses come off. He's pacing, muttering, trying to control the room, but no one's listening. Rashida stands up. You married someone else. You made 2 more babies. You lied to my face every night while I laid beside you. You don't deserve me. Her voice doesn't shake. She's not crying. She's done. Applause breaks out. Even the cast members, long torn between loyalty and disbelief, stand to support her. The host tries to regain control. Kirk, do you have anything to say? Any final words to Rashida, your wife, your real wife? He looks at her, eyes bloodshot. I made mistakes. I was weak. I thought I could fix everything without anyone getting hurt. I never stopped loving you. Rashida shakes her head. You don't love people by destroying them. And just when the audience thinks it's all over, Mona Scott-Young, the executive producer herself, walks onto the stage, a rare move. She looks directly at Kirk. There's something else we need to address, she says. We've received footage from a 4th woman who chose not to appear today. Her name is Simone, and she has a child, Kirk's oldest, from years ago that he's been hiding even from himself. The room breaks into chaos. Even Kirk looks confused. What? He mutters. But Mona's not done. Simone claims she and Kirk were together before Rashida, that he left her when she got pregnant and now her daughter is 14 and wants to meet her father. A storm of noise, screams, gasps. Kirk, frozen, eyes locked on the floor, opens in total silence. The reunion stage, once filled with voices, gasps, and outrage, has fallen deathly quiet. Kirk Frost, seated on the far end of the couch, now appears visibly broken. His hands tremble as he wipes sweat from his forehead. He opens his mouth but no words come out. The revelation of a fourth woman Simone and a 14-year-old daughter he's never acknowledged has shaken him more than anything before. Even Rashida, hardened from hours of public betrayal, looks stunned. 14 years. She says under her breath, eyes locked on Kirk. You had a child before me, and you never told me. There's no anger left in her voice. Only a hollow ache that comes when all illusions have finally shattered. Simone doesn't appear on stage, but a pre-recorded clip plays. She sits calmly in her living room, her voice even, yet undeniably emotional. When I found out I was pregnant, Kirk told me he couldn't be a father. He said he wasn't ready, that he had dreams. And I didn't want to force him into anything. But I watched him rise on TV, build a family, claim to be a good man, a loyal husband, all while pretending like my daughter didn't exist. So now, I'm done being silent. My child deserves the truth. The camera cuts back to Kirk, face in hands. Rashida stands and walks off the set, not out of anger, but because there is nothing left to hear. Her silence screams louder than any confrontation. She's emotionally bankrupt. Fans watching live start flooding the internet with messages of heartbreak and support. This is beyond cheating. One commenter writes, this is a legacy of lies. Even cast members who once tried to defend Kirk's scrappy young jock, and even Erica Dixon are seen backstage, shaking their heads, disgusted. Mona re-enters with a rare statement, one that no one sees coming. Due to the severity of the deception and the pain caused to multiple families, some of whom had no idea they were part of this narrative, we've decided to put Kirk Frost on indefinite suspension from the series. The room erupts. Some cheer, some sigh. Kirk looks up in disbelief. Y'all can't do that, he says. This is my life too. Mona responds coolly, exactly, and it's time you face it. Kirk storms off stage. Mike still hot. Y'all got me out here looking like some monster. I made mistakes. Yeah, but who hasn't? Why am I the only one getting crucified? His voice fades as the camera follows him down the hallway, crew members stepping aside. I built this show, he growls. I built this damn show. But his empire, one made of half-truths, hidden children, and emotional manipulation, has officially crumbled. Meanwhile, Rashida is in a private room with her closest friends. Tammy Rivera holds her hand. Candy fans her face, trying to keep her calm. This is the end, Rashida whispers. I kept praying it was just another chapter. But this is the final page. The pain in her eyes speaks volumes. He didn't just lie to me, she continues. He lied to those babies, to those women, to his own daughter. A day after filming, Rashida files for legal separation. Not quietly, but publicly, with a formal statement released through her attorney. I stood by Kirk Frost through pain, through betrayal, through humiliation. I believed in redemption. I fought for love. But I cannot continue to build my life on deception. My children deserve better. I deserve better. The statement ends with one last line. Let the healing begin. The media goes wild. Every blog, every podcast, every YouTube channel covers the story. Kirk Frost is now not just a reality TV villain, a cautionary tale. A man who tried to control too many hearts, lied to too many people, and forgot that secrets always rise. Memes circulate of Kirk's face with captions like 2 wives, for kids, 0 apologies. One fan tweets, Kirk really turned love and hip-hop into sister wives with trauma. But amid the chaos, the women rise. Kesha, Tasha, and Lauren announce they've connected and are forming a private support group for other women who've experienced long-term emotional deception. This is bigger than Kirk, Tasha writes in an open letter. This is about the women who stay silent, who get silenced, who are told they're crazy for speaking the truth. Not anymore. Rashida, after weeks away from social media, posts a photo, her walking down a long path, alone, with the caption, "Strength is quiet, but it moves mountains." Fans flood the post with support. Celebrities comment. Even haters go quiet. And Kirk. He disappears. No more statements. No more interviews. No more filming. Just silence. Rumors swirl that he's staying with extended family in Memphis, trying to mend relationships with his kids, especially the ones he never acknowledged. But the damage is done. The Frost name, once a brand, is now a scar. In the end, this wasn't just a story about infidelity. It was a story about emotional warfare, gaslighting, manipulation, and survival. Kirk Frost didn't just lose his wife. He lost his reputation, his family's trust, and the platform he used to play puppet master for years. And Rashida, she didn't just walk away, she walked into her power. Now, as the world waits to see what comes next, one truth remains unshaken. The dirt always comes to light. And when it does, not even reality TV can save you. And there you have it, the full unraveling of Kirk Frost's twisted empire. 2 wives, 2 babies. One man's dirty game laid bare for the entire world to witness. What started as whispers in the background became a full-blown collapse of trust, loyalty, and legacy. Kirk's attempt to juggle secret lives backfired, in the most public, humiliating way possible. His empire of lies is in ruins. His name, once associated with success and family hustle, is now etched into reality TV history as the ultimate cautionary tale. Rashida, a woman who once chose grace over revenge, has finally reached her limit, and in doing so, she's become a beacon for women everywhere who've been told to stay quiet, forgive again, and endure. Kesha, Tasha, Lauren, and even Simone stepped out of the shadows. Not to destroy a man, but to tell the truth that had been buried for far too long. And now, we're left with one question: how many more are out there? The reunion may be over, but the conversation is just beginning. How does someone come back from this? Can Kirk ever repair the damage, not just to his name, but to the children caught in the crossfire? And should Rashida ever even consider forgiveness after this level of betrayal? We want to know your thoughts, so sound off in the comments. Team Rashida, Team Truth, or do you think Kirk still has a chance at redemption? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more explosive reality breakdowns, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next chapter of your favorite reality TV train wrecks. Because if there's one thing we've learned, when it comes to Kirk Frost, the drama is never over. Until next time, keep your receipts ready and your loyalty in check. This is Reality Unfiltered.